If they come and know what'll be happen is they'll get a sheet of paper saying come up for a court date in 3 years and just go enjoy the United States, well, then they're going to do that. If they come and if they're denied entry or if they're immediately repatriated, well, guess what? People are not going to want to mess with this.
That is Florida Governor and GOP presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis in New Hampshire, rather in Eagle Pass yesterday. He's in New Hampshire today, though, a day after unveiling a sweeping border plan, and he was telling folks there in attendance that he would put in place should he win the White House in 2024. His proposal includes many things, though. Here's a few of it: and ending birthright citizenship, finishing the southern border wall, and sending U.S. forces into Mexico to combat drug cartels. The announcement marking the first time DeSantis has released a detailed policy and throwing his hat in the 2024 presidential ring. Along with that speech, he sent out a campaign video on the very same topic. But there are critics out there quick to call him out, saying his proposal mimics former President Donald Trump's strategy. I want to bring in today Stephanie Crisp-Canales. She's a Texas rancher. And Christopher Olivarez is a staff lieutenant for the Texas Highway Patrol. You just saw in that video earlier there. We appreciate the time to both of you. Lieutenant, can I start with you here, talking about specifically what you've seen at Eagle Pass, how that weather is playing a factor in those that are trying to come across the border illegally, and if they've done so, they would be arrested. What is the situation looking like at the border there? And again, considering the high temperatures there, it can be dangerous.
Right. So, Sean, Emma, good morning. Thanks for having me on. So I just got back from Eagle Pass, and you saw there with that footage there with Jason Jones. I can tell you we're now in Eagle Pass, Texas. Just the summer heat alone, just dealing with the extreme temperatures, exceeding well over 115 degrees, and also with the humidity, they're very dangerous conditions for these migrants continuing to cross the river. And also the river itself is dangerous. But one thing that we started doing most recently that's different that we've never done before is actually stop these migrants at the river between the ports of entry. And as you saw in that video, many more migrants are still continuing to cross that dangerous river. So when you look back at what the administration talked about by actually processing more migrants through the CBP1 app and trying to release them at the ports of entry, well, we're still dealing with the fact that we do have migrants coming across the river. And right now we're trying to block them and redirect them back to Mexico and to the ports of entry where they should be seeking their asylum claims. But again, not only dealing with that, but also having to deal with the smugglers like coyotes that are bringing people across, that are extorting and robbing these migrants from money to their personal belongings, having to arrest them as well. So it's very challenging, also dealing with the extreme heat in that specific area. But again, just goes to show you that this is not a humane process, as the administration continues to talk about, when you allow these migrants to continue to come across the border and are being released into the country. And that's why they continue to come.
It affects everyone differently there, obviously, Lieutenant, having your hands full there and having to deal with that. I wanted to also, it affects ranchers as well in the state of Texas. I want to bring in Stephanie if I can. Stephanie, thanks so much for joining us. Can you talk about the influx of illegal migration that we have seen in the past several years here? How has this affected your ranch, maybe what you've seen that maybe some of the American public might not be aware of if they're not watching certain cable news stations? Your thoughts?
Well, it's been an invasion since day one. We have felt for a long time that we've been abandoned by our federal government, because we have been. It's taken a toll financially on us. We raise cattle. And so I will say that since they put up the razor wire all along the border, or most of the border, our numbers here have started to decrease, which we are very, very grateful. We're also very grateful for our local Border Patrol agents and the state troopers that our governor has sent down here. It has definitely helped. We are still seeing people come through our property, though. Our cameras are still picking them up. They continue to cut our fences, open gates. So we've had a lot of problems with that because, like I said, we do have cattle. And when cattle get out, bad things happen, and it's costing us, and it's very frustrating.
Obviously, yeah, obviously costing you there, but then perhaps putting your safety in jeopardy as well. Perhaps fearful for not knowing what could happen anytime anyone trespasses your property. It's not always a good
Correct.
feeling. I got to leave it right there, but Lieutenant, clearly there's someone there grateful that you are putting up that wire or something to deter those coming across illegally. You heard it there firsthand from a rancher herself, Stephanie Crisp-Canales and Lieutenant Christopher Olivarez. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.